जू की जाय नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय नितिल विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय नितिल विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय नितिल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय श्री रूप गौरिया गुरु वार्ग की जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय श्री भक्ति देवी की जय श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीश्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूत हृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तन हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नाष्टप्रयश्वद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना एति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Gargaraj ji, Madhvi Didi, Yashoda Didi, Indira Mataji. Sorry I'm so late today. Oh my God, it's almost 7:48. Yeah. Well, today's going to be a short reading. Actually, my plan yesterday was to read an extra verse, and then we could easily finish this chapter today. But since I wasn't able to finish that verse, I'm going to have to divide this up into 2 days. But that's actually not a problem because tomorrow I have our Rupa Shiksha program. So I'm going to have to pre-record it. And it's nicer for me if I don't have to pre-record a really long class. So yeah, tomorrow we will finish the chapter. And also I'll read all the verses from the beginning all the way and then end with the purports with the 2 last verses so that we have a nice overview of the full chapter before we move on to the next chapter. So I'm going to go a little back up, not all the way, just the past couple days. So the Gopīs said in response to Krishna, when Krishna, we've went over what Krishna said enough times. So the Gopīs say, "O Krishna, Brahma and other reputed demigods go to great lengths to achieve the merciful glance of Lakshmi Devi, who enjoys an eternal place on your chest without any rival. Yet she hankers so much for a portion of the dust of your lotus feet that she is willing to share it along with her co-wife Tulsi. The same dust is easily available to your devotee servants, and like them, we have also come to take shelter of this dust. O you who annihilate all the miseries of the surrendered souls, desiring to serve you, we have abandoned our homes, families, and villages, and have come to take shelter of your lotus feet. You should be pleased with us. O crest jewel of men, your sweet smile and crooked glance have ignited our hearts with the blazing fire of the desire to meet you, which has now spread to each and every pore of our bodies. Please accept us as your maidservants and give the precious fortune to serve you. O beloved, your beautiful lotus face surrounded by your curly hair, your lovely radiant cheeks decorated with exquisite earrings, the nectar of your sweet lips defying heavenly ambrosia, your crooked glance and soft smile exuding delight, your 2 arms which remove the fear of those surrendered to you, and your broad chest, which is the eternal playground of Lakshmi Devi. Seeing all these, we have become your maidservants. Hey Krishna, is there any beautiful maiden in all the 3 worlds who would not digress from moral conduct, having been enchanted by your mellifluous flute song, which is ornamented with the ascending and descending trills? And after gazing upon your beautiful threefold bending form, which is the source of auspiciousness for the 3 worlds? Your beauty that attracts the 3 worlds and the sounds of your flute are so irresistible that what to speak of women, even the cows, birds, trees, and deer also tingle with excitement, being immersed in supreme bliss." I think we just read up to this verse yesterday, right? Yeah, we just read up to this verse. Okay, so we'll start from here. Just checking the comments. Haribo, Bhavatarini Mataji. I don't understand what you're saying here. You said, I think this live. Yeah, let me know what you're saying. All right. Vyaktang bhavam vraja Vyaktang bhavam vrajana bhayarti haro bijato Devo yatadi purusha suraloka gupta Tano nidehi kara pankajamarta bandho Tapta stane chashira shuchakinkarinam. O beloved, certainly you have taken birth in Vrajamandal to relieve the distress and fear of the residents of Vraj, just as Bhagavan Narayan comes to protect the realm of the demigods. O friend of the wretched, O merciful one, we are indeed in a very pitiful condition. Our breasts are inflamed with the burning desire to meet you. So you should keep your tender lotus hands on the breasts and heads of your maidservants to relieve our anguish and give us new life. Shrila Samipad's Bhavarta Dipika. Vyaktang means certainly. Srila Jīva Gosvāmī's Vaishnav Toshani. The Gopis of the fourth group commenced their arguments by asserting that they could not be held responsible for transgressing Dharma. Rather, they placed the blame on Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself. Okay, so when he says the first group, the second group, the fourth group, I'm guessing, let me know if anybody knows the answer to this, but I'm guessing that it's going from bottom to up, because I think, so it's starting with Vipaksha, then it's going up to Tatastha, and then the second group would be Suhrid, and then the fourth group would be Svapaksha. Because this is just these first words, it seems like this is more like Radharani's mood, like being more contrary. More like, Vamyapav. Anyways. So rather, they placed the blame on Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself. But this verse, they concluded their discussion. The Gopis suspected that Krishna might say, "O Gopis, you are talking about so many personalities becoming enchanted. But as I have the same qualities as Narayan, I am Purnakam. All my desires are satisfied. Thus, nothing attracts me. What more can I say in this regard?" Thinking in this way, the Gopis spoke this verse starting with Vyaktam, certainly. The Gopi said, "We are your maidservants in this special mellow, so we will not be blamed for giving up Dharma. Rather, if you do not fulfill our desire, you will be at fault for not executing your Dharma." In this way, the Gopis, repudiated. They repudiated the blame and passed it on to Krishna in an irrevocable way. "Definitely, you have done this." Thus, they again presented their conclusion. "You advented to annihilate all fear and distress in Vraj, just as the primeval Lord Narayan, out of his own will, protects the realm of the demigods. So please keep your lotus hands on the heads and inflamed hearts of your maidservants. Furthermore, you might say, 'O Gopis, I accept your reasoning that lovely maidens fall down from their chastity simply upon seeing me. Therefore, it is my duty to bestow my ambrosial servitude upon you. But, like Narayan, I am complete with all virtues and I am Purnakam. So why would I be inclined to perform such service?" Apprehending such a statement from Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the Gopis spoke this verse, Vyaktam. "It is well known that you removed the Vrajvasi's miseries and fears, and that is why you appeared in Vraj. For example, when the Vrajvasis were afraid of Putana and the forest fire, and when they were distressed by torrential rains, you saved them. And especially when the Vrajvasis languish. What's languish mean? One second, look up languish. Of a person, animal, or plant, lose or lack vitality, grow weak. Pine with love or grief. She languished after Richard." Okay. So it's that one. And especially when the Vrajvasis languish, just thinking about separation from you, you alleviate their agony. You yourself have avowed, "I am the sole master and protector of the cowherd community. All the residents of Vraj are my dear family members, and I will protect the cowherd village by the enormous power of my mighty arms. This is my firm determination. You spoke this when you lifted Govardhan on your left hand. So if you will not award us your ambrosial servitorship, you will be breaking your promise. In some scriptures, Vrajajanarti is seen in place of Rāsa-pañcādhyāyī. In such a case, Arti means the unlimited distress of the Vrajvasis, both inner and outer. Furthermore, you have taken birth in a special noble family. If we die in the fire of separation from you, your vow to protect the Vrajvasis from fear and distress will go in vain, and you will be implicated for breaking your promise. Even Purnakama Ishwar, the self-satisfied Supreme Lord, desires to keep his word. With this intention, the Gopis spoke the second line of this verse, starting with Deva, which is defined as one whose presence is full of splendor and who is worshipped by the whole world. The primeval Lord is topmost among men, and the Deva who appeared from the womb of Aditi by his own will came to protect the demigods and his intimate associates. You have also appeared in the same way. Thus, to alleviate our miseries, keep your lotus hands on our burning breasts. The only reason that the Gopis compared Śrī Kṛṣṇa's hands to a lotus is that his hands remove intense burning. Indeed, the intention of the Vrajaramanis, who are filled with topmost prem, was to convince Śrī Kṛṣṇa to keep his lotus hand on their breasts. If he simply agreed to do this, their burning would subside. However, if there were any chance that the heat would be transmitted to Śrī Kṛṣṇa's lotus hands, they would not make such an appeal. Hence, they very humbly made another request. Please keep your lotus hands on our heads as well, and make us one with you. Hey Arthabandho, O friend of the distress, we are your maidservants, but even in your direct presence we are burning up. This cannot be justified. As the friend of the distressed, you should keep your hands on our heads, but if you are motivated by lust, do not put them on our breasts. This is a deeper meaning. As soon as you touch our bodies, the different moods hidden in our hearts will automatically come to the surface. We shall not be able to conceal them anymore. Oh, and there's a footnote. Śrī Kṛṣṇa made that vow that was mentioned above in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:25-18 when he's lifting Govardhan. Okay. So now the meaning and the mood of indifference. The Gopis suspected that Krishna was ready to touch their bodies by force. Vyaktam, you remove the fear and miseries of the residents of Vraj, so it is your duty to protect us from the fear of transgressing Dharma. For you to break Dharma is thoroughly improper. Hey Arthabandho, with this address, the Gopis are praying to be saved from overstepping Dharma. This fear makes us very unhappy. Hey Arthabandho, it is your duty to remove this fear, not to increase it. O you whose heart is burning with the fire of lust, you are unable to distinguish between right and wrong. What to speak of chaste ladies like us? Don't even touch your domestic maidservants. Your hand is burning with the fire of lust, so never mind their breasts. Don't even keep your hand on their heads. Otherwise, their dharma will be destroyed. We know that you are capable of such immoral acts with them, but don't even think of behaving improperly with us, as we are chaste ladies from respectable families. This is the essence of the Gopis' discussion. The conversation starting with Swagatam Vo Mahabhaga, which is in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10, which is in verse 18 of this chapter, up to the present verse, is an anubhav called sanglap, a verbal exchange characterized by replies and counter-replies. Retorts, right? What do you need to say that? Okay. Śrīla Viśvanātha, Let me just check the. Oh, okay. Bhavatarani Mataji. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're on the right one now. Shah Sharmaji, Dandavat Pranam. And Prajumna Prabhu, no worries. Dandavat Pranams, Mantramurti Mataji, and Mitra Vrinda Didi. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe. Okay, so now Srila Viśvanātha Chakravartī Thakur's Sarartha Darshini. Oh Krishna, what is the point of flaunting your cleverness? Quit hiding your real feelings. The Gopis made their intentions very clear when they spoke this verse Vyaktam. You have taken birth to remove the fears and sufferings of all the Vrajavasis, and you yourself have affirmed this. You have protected the Vrajavasis from the forest fire, torrential rains, and strong winds. In some versions, Vraja Janarti Hara is found, in which case the meaning will be, it is a well-known fact that you have taken birth from the womb of Yashoda in the home of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul to remove the fears and miseries of the residents of Vraj, in the same way that Adi Purush Narayan, the primeval lord, protects the planets of the demigods. If you do not respond to our prayer, 100 million gopis will die. Then their parents and all the other Vrajvasis will be devastated, wondering in great fear how so many gopis lost their lives at the same time in the middle of the forests. Śrī Kṛṣṇa might reply, well, in this situation, what do you want? Tell me. The gopis answer, hey Artha Bandho, keep your lotus hand on our inflamed breasts and heads. If Krishna says, my tender hands will be scorched by touching your inflamed breasts, the gopis would answer, we are your maidservants, and our burning breasts are also meant for your service. The heat of the sun does not make the lotus suffer. Rather, it makes it blossom. Similarly, our burning breasts will provide pleasure for your lotus hands. This is the meaning. You should keep your lotus hands on our heads with the blessing that we should not fear the You should keep your lotus hands on our heads with the blessing that we should not fear that henceforth you will ever reject us. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Viklavitam Dattasam Shrutva Yogeshwareshvara Prahasya Sadayam Gopir Atma Ramo Pyari Ramat. Shri Shukadev Gosvāmī said, O Parikshit, when Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is the imperial master of all mystic yoga, heard the gopis' lament, which was filled with emotional turmoil, his heart melted out of mercy. He is Atmaram, self-satisfied, and enjoying in his own Sarup, so he does not need any external object for his enjoyment. Nevertheless, he smiled and inaugurated the Ras Lila with the gopis. Śrīdhara Swamipad's Bhavartha Dipika. Vikla Vitam. The humble words spoken in the great agitation of prem. Gopir Ari Ramat. Inaugurated the Ras Vihar with the gopis. The pleasure-filled activities include... Inaugurated the Ras Vihar with the gopis. The pleasure-filled activities included within the Ras Lila. Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipad's Vaishnav Toshani. The present verse starting with iti describes how Śrī Kṛṣṇa was satisfied to hear the gopis' words spoken in the great agitation of prem. Like his own words, which had double meanings, the words of the Vrajramanis arising out of anger and humility were also read in two ways, displaying entreaty and indifference. To fulfill his desire for pleasure, in a laughing mood, he started with the Ras Vihar with the gopis. He had wanted to hear the gopis' responses to him, which, even though he was only joking, reflected their extreme perturbation. Now that this desire was fulfilled, Krishna was laughing. Due to hearing the excellence of Krishna's answers in response to their own words, the gopis' hidden feelings were exposed. This caused bhav, an advanced stage of prem, to arise in their hearts. When Śrī Kṛṣṇa saw this, his heart fully blossomed with very special feelings. This manifested on his face as the anubhav of jubilation, harsha, which is explained in the Rasa-shastra. After hearing the humble, love-filled words of the gopis, Krishna experienced his heart melting with compassion. Thus he led all the gopis in the ras dance, Gopir Ari Ramat. He led all the gopis in the ras dance with himself as the master of the whole event and displayed great zeal for engaging in amorous play. This is the meaning. For performing this amorous play, Krishna himself promoted the ras dance, and the gopis also wanted to participate. Out of the two, Śrī Kṛṣṇa's desire was predominant. For example, when children are playing, the one who has called them together plays the upper role. The gopis also participated in the amorous play that Krishna instigated. Therefore, the use of the verb ariramat, he satisfied in the active voice, parasmaipad, culminates in the preeminence of the agent, the karta, because the parasmaipad affix occurs after a verbal root that terminates in nich, for attributing the fruit of the action to the agent. Wow, this is getting really technical. Providing the root's non-nich intransitive counterpart with an animate agent, Panini's Ashtadhyayi 1.388. Here, the verbal root ram is transitive. This is why Śrī Kṛṣṇa convinced the gopis to enjoy the ras dance. I hope that all made sense to you. Just joking. Yeah. In this regard, it is stated, Atmaramo api. It is astonishing that one who is fully absorbed in the pleasure of the self, Atmananda, should become involved in some other activity, but such an impossible occurrence has taken place. Aho, how powerful is the prem of the gopis, which reduces even Atmananda to insignificance. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10 states, Atma Ramash Chamunayo. The transcendental activities of Sri Hari attract even the self-satisfied sages. But the indescribable love of the Vraj Devis attracts and controls even Atmananda Śrī Kṛṣṇa. The word api, even though, has been used to establish the super special quality of the gopis' prem. Thus the use of api here is quite appropriate. Otherwise, Atmananda would be acting against his nature. And Atmananda would be acting against his nature. In Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.64, the Lord says, Without my devotees, I do not take any pleasure, even within my own self. This statement refers to ordinary devotees, but it indicates that the attraction of Atmananda becomes insignificant in the face of the prem of the gopis, who are the topmost devotees. This has been said with a special intention. Although Atmarama api has been spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.64 and also in the present verse. This repetition is not without meaning, because Bhagavan takes more pleasure in being controlled by the love of his devotees than from his own Atma. One might question how Krishna, being one, could enjoy with unlimited gopis. This is answered by the word Yogeshwareshwar, the master of the mystic yogis. Wait, it's Yogeshwareshwar. So he's the Ishwar of the Yogeshwars, who are the masters of yoga. So yeah, he's the master of the masters of yoga, basically. If ordinary yogis can expand into many bodies by the power of their mystic yoga and simultaneously perform many different activities, then why will Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the supreme master of all yogis, not be able to do the same thing by the influence of his inconceivable inborn potency, even without expanding himself? In the inner chambers of Dwarka, Narad Muni witnessed Krishna in a single body doing many different activities in the different palaces at the same time by the influence of Yogamaya. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1069-2. Chitram bataitar ekena vapusha yugapat pratak griheshu dvashtasahasram striya eka udavahat. The word gopi is used in this verse to remind one of all those mahamantras in which these celebrated gopis are mentioned as Śrī Krishna's eternal beloveds, and thus in his enjoyment with them. And thus his enjoyment with them is not surprising. Wait, let me reread that. The word gopi is used in this verse to remind one of all those mahamantras in which these celebrated gopis are mentioned as Śrī Krishna's eternal beloveds, and thus his enjoyment with him is not surprising. Huh. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākur's rtha Darshini. Śrī Krishna had been keen to hear the gopis' words, which were spoken in great humility in their overwhelming prema. His desire now satisfied, he laughed and said, "Oho, all you cowherd maidens are overflowing with love. Yet every day at the time of meeting, you display extreme contrary. How do you say that word? I'm just going to say contrariness. Contrariety. Contrary. Yeah, I'm going to say contrariness just to make it easier. Vamya bhav. Yeah, you're overflowing with love, but at the time of meeting, you display an extreme contrary mood. Vamya bhav. I have exhibited this Vamya bhav only today, and that too externally. My internal mood is submissive, dakshinya. I have done so only this one time, and you became completely devastated, and out of despair, you gave up your shyness. This has done me. I have taken in my palms the ocean of all your hidden feelings for me, and I drank it. I am victorious over you. O gopis, topmost of the wise, I have conquered you. Now your shyness is a hindrance to our meeting, so you should give it up and come forward. Become a garland of jewels around my neck and let me drink the nectar of your lips, for which I have been thirsting for a long time." After all this jovial, spectacular conversation, Śrī Krishna affectionately inaugurated his amorous play with the gopis. Due to the effect of the brilliant prema of the love-filled Vrajdevis, he hid his Atma Ramata and submitted himself to prema. The news of its victory had been declared in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10. Atma Ramash Chamunayo. The transcendental qualities of Śrī Hari are so astonishing that even self-satisfied sages get attracted and engage in bhakti to him. This verse describes Śrī Hari's super-mundane qualities, and it also highlights the glories of the gopis' prema. The gopis are the manifestation of Krishna's pleasure potency. There is no fault in Krishna enjoying with the Vraja maidens, for they are the manifestation of his pleasure potency, and thus they are part of his own being, like his very own soul. In this amorous episode, Śrī Krishna experiences more bliss than he does in enjoying his own self. This is confirmed in his talk with Uddhav. Nacha sankarshano nashir naivatma chayata bhava. Hey Uddhav, neither sankarshan, I think sankarshan has a dot under it. Neither sankarshan, Lakshmi, nor even myself are as dear to me as you are. At Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-15. Krishna also says, Naham atmanam ashase mar bhaktai sadubir vina. I love only my devotees who are completely surrendered to me. Without them, I have no interest in enjoying my own self nor the goddess of fortune. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.64. These statements make it clear that Bhagavan delights in his devotees, from whom he derives more joy than from his own self. The gopis are the crown jewels of all the devotees. So Śrī Kṛṣṇa reaps a very special bliss in being conquered by their love and performing vihar with them, rather than dwelling within his own self. How could one Krishna by himself enjoy with millions and millions of fair maidens? Kramadipika gives testimony to this. The word Yogeshwareshwara resolves this doubt. An ordinary yogi like Sobhari can expand into many forms and enjoy with many women. Rudra and other demigods who are his masters can do the same. This being the case, then certainly Sri Bhagavan, who is the supreme master of these mystic yogis and who is endowed with inconceivable potency, can perform many kinds of activities, even without expanding himself. This is not at all astonishing. Sri Narad, after witnessing Dwarka Lila, became amazed to behold many manifestations of Krishna, as quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam 169.2. Chitram bataitar ekena vapusha. Aho, how astonishing that Sri Krishna in his one form is sporting with 16,000 wives in different moods and in 16,000 palaces simultaneously. Tabi sametabir udara cheshtita priyekshanotpula mukhi virachuta udara hasa dvijakunda didhatir vyarochatai nanka ivodubhir vrita. The benevolent Bhagavan Sri Krishna adapted his mood and activities to please the gopis. Yet he remained infallible, fixed in his eternal blissful nature, which is full of knowledge. He laughed openly, showing the brilliance of his kunda flower-like teeth. The gopis' lotus faces blossomed with joy upon seeing his loving glances. Standing in their midst, he appeared like the radiant full moon surrounded by stars. Śrīla Swāmīpad's Bhavartha Dipika. The lotus faces of the gopis bloomed upon seeing their beloved Sri Krishna. His magnanimous laugh unfolded the splendor of his jasmine bud-like teeth. Enanka is the full moon. Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmīpad's Vaishnav Toshani. The next four verses, starting with this one, Tabhi, describe the rites of amorous play that Krishna instigated, featuring the exceptional beauty that Sri Krishna manifests in his loving union with the gopis. Just as the beauty of the full moon is enhanced when surrounded by stars, Sri Krishna's splendid radiance also increases when he is encircled by the gopis. Sametabihi. Sri Krishna summoned the gopis by his flute song and thus inaugurated the Ras dance. In the previous verse, Ari Ramat makes the same point. Tabihi. This means with the assembled gopis. Vrita means surrounded by. Vyarochata means shining forth. The word achuta denotes that he remained fixed in his infallible position even while he was engaged in romancing with so many gopis. Thus he performs special pastimes, udara cheshtita. Udara means skillful, supremely excellent, delightful pastimes that stimulate a special mellow. Cheshtita means Sri Krishna's activities, such as touching, giving flowers, and glancing. In other words, Sri Krishna was touching one gopi, offering flowers in the hand of another gopi, and glancing at some others. These are his munificent activities that stimulated very special moods in the gopis' hearts. Priyakshana. Therefore, Sri Krishna and the gopis exchanged loving glances. Utpula mukha, blossoming faces. This confirms that the gopis' faces are like lotuses. Their beloved Krishna was glancing affectionately at their blooming faces, and the gopis were reciprocating in kind. Shri Krishna's loving glance removed the darkness of the unhappy contrary moods hidden in their hearts, In other words, the rays emanating from the sun like Śrī Kṛṣṇa manifested the lotus-faced gopis' natural nitya siddha bhav, their eternal, perfect moods. This indicates the special rasa of the gopis. Uddhara hasa, his broad smile exposed the brilliance of his kunda flower-like teeth, thus displaying his special rasa and enhancing the charm of his laughter. The word ena anka, the full moon, shows that even though Śrī Kṛṣṇa is eternally the epitome of the supreme beauty, his splendor still increases when he is surrounded by the Rajasundaris. Just as the moon in the sky becomes more radiant when surrounded by the sparkling stars, the same happens with Śrī Kṛṣṇa when encircled by the gopis. Tabhi, with them. When the gopis and Krishna are together, their brilliance, their love for each other, their eternal communion, as well as the beauty of the gopis' slender waists, are all magnified. Srila Viśvanātha Cakravartī Thakur's rtha Darshini. Udara, liberal, refers to he who generously gives amorous pleasure to the Vraj Devis and who gives prem to his Bhav Bhaktas, devotees who have attained the stage of Bhav, through hearing and singing about his pastimes. Cheshtita, activities, pertains to Śrī Kṛṣṇa who is always performing pastimes such as touching the gopis, giving them flowers, and casting glances at them. Achyuta is he who is performing pastimes with every gopi at the same time, yet who never deviates from his absolute position. Udara Hasa Dvija is that Krishna who, with his broad, generous smile, reveals his dazzling teeth, which defeats the brilliance of kunda flowers, and who is as splendid as the full moon. Upagiyamana udkayan vanita shatayutapa malang bibhrad vajayantim vyacharan mandayam vanam. Okay. The Vrajgopis started singing sweetly about the attributes, beauty, and pastimes of their beloved Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who reciprocated by loudly singing songs glorifying their love and beauty. That supreme hero, bedecked with the Vaijayanti Mala, led hundreds and hundreds of groups of gopis and started roaming about Vrindavan, thus enchanting its grandeur. Srila Jīva Gosvāmī Pad's Vaishnav Toshani. In this way, as Śrī Kṛṣṇa started moving towards the Yamuna with the gopis, he increased the splendor of Vrindavan. Pointing out the different flowers to the gopis, he stimulated their sentiments. He took the path along the Yamuna's bank, which was highly suitable for amorous enjoyment. This is the meaning of the present verse, Upagiyamana. First of all, Śrī Kṛṣṇa jubilantly sang in a high pitch about the moon and the stars, stirring up the Vrajsundarians. Then the gopis repeated the song, Upagiyamana, in a high tone, and according to their mood, their song could be taken either as glorifying the moon or glorifying Krishna with his names and qualities. Such a double, oh God, what's this word? Intendre. Anyways, I think we get the meaning, right? Such a double entendre is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1. So double meaning. The phrase Akila Rasamrita Murti has two meanings, one for Krishna and the other for the moon. Yeah, that verse is so amazing. The first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's such a, yeah, anyways. First, Śrī Kṛṣṇa sang a song describing the full moon, which emits all varieties of tasteful nectarian mellows, which dims all the stars by dispersing its effulgence, which has come out to enjoy romantic dalliance in the night, thereby increasing its beauty, and whose topmost beloved is the star named Anuradha. All glories to that full moon, the emperor of all seasons, reigning in all its grandeur. The Vraj Sundaris gave the meaning of the song in favor of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Akila Rasamrita Murti means he who is the complete shelter of all the 12 nectarian mellows, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, etc. Okay, so he's going on to explain this first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prasri Mara Ruchi Ruddha Ṭhākura Pali. Is he who has subjugated the two gopis, Ṭhākura and Pali, by spreading his captivating beauty. But see, this word Ṭhākura is the name of gopi leaders in those groups, but Ṭhākura also means stars, and Pali means galaxy. So this whole verse is glorifying the moon and the stars, as well as Krishna and the gopis. So he has subjugated the two gopis, Ṭhākura and Pali, by spreading his captivating beauty. Kalita Shama Lalita. This refers to he who has absorbed the minds of the two gopis, Shama and Lalita. Radha Prayan, who gives his full love to Radha. Vidhu, Śrī Kṛṣṇa in all his splendor. Jayati, be victorious. May that Śrī Kṛṣṇa be victorious. The gopis sang Śrī Kṛṣṇa's glories by changing a few of the words of his song here and there. He changed a few of the words here and there. Śrī Kṛṣṇa sang, "Oh, look, this pond is very serene and clear due to the reflecting the radiance of the moon, and it is further embellished by buzzing bumblebees hovering over the night lilies." The gopis took the song and changed Yamini, night, to Kamini, and Shat, six-legged, to Shat. Because Shatpada refers to a bee which has 6 legs, but they changed it to Sat. The meaning then became radiating his crystalline effulgence and decorated with a peacock feather. Krishna is so attractive, giving pleasure to the whole earth. Singing sweet melodies with pleasing lyrics, he became even more alluring. So they're singing Krishna's same song, but just changing 1 or 2 words to completely change the meaning. The gopis sang about Krishna in the same melody and rhythm that he used. The hearts of the Vraj Sundaris were exclusively absorbed in their beloved, and thus he directly manifested from their words. The Vishnu Puran affirms, Krishna sang about the autumn moonlit night and the pond, which is the abode of the lilies. And the gopis sang Śrī Kṛṣṇa's names only, again and again. Both Krishna's names and attributes are relishable. Sometimes the gopis were singing about his qualities, and sometimes only his names. Vanita means love-filled damsels, according to the Amar Kosh diction. Vanita Shata Yutapaha. This refers to the leader who commands pa, hundreds and hundreds, shata, of groups, yuta, of lovely maidens. He is their hero. Another meaning of pa is he who drinks the beauty of these damsels through his eyes. So pa means who commands or who drinks. The Vrajramanis are called Vanita because they are all deeply attached to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. All of them are supremely in love with Krishna. Yet according to their various moods towards him, they are divided into 4 groups: Swapaksha, Vipaksha, Suhrit Paksha, and Tatastha Paksha. Each group is comprised of hundreds and hundreds of gopis. Again, within these 4 major groups, hundreds and hundreds of vanitas are grouped together in separate parties on the basis of their individual bhavs. However, each gopi enjoyed many kinds of amorous pastimes with Śrī Kṛṣṇa according to her own particular mood. All of them directly drank the nectar of his lips and made him drink the nectar of their lips, thereby increasing his pleasure. Vaijayanti is a garland strung with 5 kinds of flowers. In the forthcoming verse, Valayanam Nupuranam, that's 1033.5, it is stated that Śrī Kṛṣṇa was adorned with bracelets, anklets, and many other such ornaments at the time of the Ras dance, and he was also wearing a Vaijayanti mala. While he was roaming through the forest with the Vraj maidens, they gathered 5 kinds of flowers, strung a Vaijayanti mala suitable for wandering in the woods, Van Vihar, and placed it around his neck. In addition, the forest goddess Vrindadevi arranged for many such malas and kept them in different kunjas located throughout the forest. It is to be understood in this way. Vyacharat means roaming all around. Sorry, guys. I did go over time. I just realized. Anyways, this isn't very long. We're almost finished with this. So, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Thakur's Rtha Darshini. The Gopīs sing sweetly in a high pitch with the proper combination of rag, particular melody, swar, chord, and tal, rhythm. They sang the following song in tintal, 3 beats. Oh God, how do we sing this? Anyways, I'm just gonna say the Sanskrit. Vadanam madhuma sadanam chalanam dalanam kandra kirtinam hasitam sudrigbir lasitam tavasaraya patumamas anisam. Whatever. Your auspicious lotus face is the abode of sweetness. Your gait belittles the fame of the movements of an excellent elephant, and your soft smile is cherished by beautiful maidens. Please nourish and protect us forever. Śrī Kṛṣṇa alone is the maintainer and the lover of millions and millions of gopis, the most prominent being Śrī Radha and Chandravali, who themselves protect hundreds of groups of gopis. All of them together sang the same melody that Śrī Kṛṣṇa had sung, but they described his names and attributes. In response, he loudly sang in the same style as Radha and Chandravali, changing some of the words. Okay, so is this the same? Yeah, this is the same song, but changing the words, right? Well, that looks kind of different. It looks pretty different anyways. Tvadvadanam sadanam madhumam tatrahanta draganta vilasa teshvasamam sushamam upajagamo sundari kamakala sakalasta. Hey Sundari, oh beautiful one, your face is the abode of sweetness, and therein your eyes are moving playfully. Oh, you display extraordinary expertise in the art of elegantly expressing amorous desire. Then the gopi sang, not 12, anyways. Kante tva vasodaya datamendu vregachala durasha eva date janopahasa sahanotavakim Vijopi mudo garalam jaghase. Oh beloved, you are disgraced because your moon-like face bears some blemish, the love mark of another sweetheart, like the moon with the mark of a deer. Oh handsome one, you are twice born, so why are you so foolish as to drink poison? In these songs, Krishna sang Sundari and the gopis sang Sundara. He said Kanta, and they said Kante. The gopis and Krishna sang responsively. Vaijayanti Mala is a garland strung with flowers of 5 different colors, or instead of flowers, 5 different colored gems. Interesting. So Vaijayanti Mala could be made of gems as well. Huh. All right, so we're ending here. Thanks for letting me go over time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandhar Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shri Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जय. श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय. श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्री रस पंचाध्यायी की जय. सर्वव्रज देवी गण की जय. रसेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाशा कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो namo namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. So tomorrow I will be reading, we are only, let's see, how much do we have left? Yeah, so much nectar today, especially, isn't it? These purports are probably, I think to me, the most juicy purports in this chapter yet. Yeah, so we have how much more left? We only have 2,649 words left in this chapter, so not very much. Usually we read about 5,000 words a day. So we have like half of our normal reading tomorrow. And so I'm going to make, I have a Rupa Shiksha class tomorrow, so I will pre-record tomorrow's reading and I'll make it go live at the normal time. So I'll be exactly on time tomorrow. And yeah, so see you all tomorrow. Haribol. Dandavat pranams, everybody.